Welcome to Modern Home Mastermind with beSpoke Brokers. I'm Shauna Glazier, designated broker and owner.
And I'm Brittany Williamson, associate broker. Shauna and I are beSpoke Real Estate, but we're also your guides to modern luxury across the entire state of Arizona.
Each week, we chat with masterminds shaping the modern spaces. Do you want to get a behind-the-scenes look at your design build team's processes? Well, open communication and teamwork will lead you to a successful project.
From architects to builders, designers, and more, let's explore the art of modern living together.
All right, so what if the spaces you walked into every day, like your office, your favorite hotel, or even your home, were intentionally designed to change how you feel, think, and perform? Well, today's guest, Oscar de las Salas of Gensler, believes they absolutely can and should be, and he's here to share how.
That's right. Originally from Colombia, Oscar is the client relationship manager at Gensler here in Phoenix. Throughout his career, he's helped to blend architecture, interior design, and human experiences, and works to advance business development and client relationships across the Southwest, California, and Latin American markets. He's also an educator, board leader, and creative icon known for championing thoughtful environments and cultural dialogue. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is very bespoke.
There you go. Nice plug. All right. You have such a rich background. It'd be great to just hear a little bit about your story and what led you to be involved with Gensler.
Well, thank you very much for having me once again. As you read, Brittany, I'm an architect with a master's in architecture, with a master's in interior architecture. Double whammy for those who know those both worlds. I came to Arizona about 30 years ago, pretty soon, looking to do my master's thesis, my thesis project about Frank Lloyd Wright. And Taliesin happened to be here. I had a tradition of someone who used to live here, my boss, in the previous life, and then he asked me to come to Arizona to write my thesis. Came here in a cocktail party. I received a proposal to work with a local small company, and this is 27 years ago. And about a decade ago, I started working with local Gensler. Gensler is the largest architectural firm in the world, the most impactful in terms of design. And we were expanding in Phoenix. We're still expanding in Phoenix, and the reason why I decided to join the Gensler team is because it's the firm that is looking design in the moment and in the future. Not only is the most impactful firm when it comes to design, but also a firm that looks into the human experience, the design as human experience. So it comprehends a series of interdisciplinary elements of design, and in very different market sectors applied to everything.
And you can certainly feel that in the Gensler buildings.
Mm-hmm. You do. You definitely do.
Definitely. One of the things that we talked about on our pre-show call was how Gensler has kind of been reimagining some of these spaces based on that human experience, like these big buildings with these huge lobbies. And a lot of people were working from home or doing a hybrid thing now since the pandemic. Can you kind of walk us through how things have changed?
Yes. So the humanity was like going through life. We were just experiencing life and cities as we knew it. Mm-hmm. And then pandemic happened. So there's a full stop in pandemic and reassessment of how do we work, live, and play in the buildings that we design. So one aspect of that is the interiors of our buildings. So, and how do we come back to work? That's one of perhaps the main element. So the idea of our designs is just to make sure that we redesign these buildings or design these buildings for people to come back to work, to looking for community, looking for experiences, looking for something unique to continue on the daily life inside of those buildings, rather than you feel obligated to come back to work. Mm-hmm. So as you see, these buildings are becoming cultural hubs, centers of experiences. So different uses have been adapted inside of these buildings. So, for example, here, the space that we're just filming this podcast, there's a speakeasy here. Mm-hmm. And this is a space that is for work. So it's like, instead of going home after work, you're going to end up in a happy hour in a speakeasy with your coworkers or people that you invite to come over. Mm-hmm. We have other experiences where full-on lobbies have become gastronomic palette places. So you go to, instead of going to have your lunch, you bring your computer and then you experience something different, or you invite friends and you leave really have the pulse inside of those spaces.
I think you brought some pictures of
Yes.
some of these spaces, correct?
Yes.
Can we pull up some of those?
Yes, so
Just to-
these spaces become cultural spaces for cultural events. Usually have outdoor terraces. They have amenities that create connection. We've seen some paddle. I think is the latest sports. Thank you, that everyone plays. I haven't, and that's next on my calendar. But it's just like, or yoga. There's like yoga studios inside of spaces. So once again, you want to make sure that you are in the space and you leave the space. This is a local project in Chandler called Insight, and this is their HQ. And if you see, there is a sense of hospitality and lobby of a hotel. So before, these waiting rooms and spaces didn't have that aspect, or they were transitional places. You walk into a lobby and that's all you needed just to get to a different point. Now these have changed. And if you see this particular aspect, the inclusion of color, like bold colors or palette or luxury palettes or colors or materials had come into the spaces that we work. And that also has to do with technology because we have advanced in terms of the materials that we use in our spaces. So now we have all these to our disposition. You see cafes happening, you see meetings happening in lobbies, like groups of people that they're out of the boardroom and they're in the lobby just having a meeting or a cafe. So the reuse or the constant use of spaces brings you a new experience. And that's through design, and that is a process that Gensler bring to all the projects.
Love it. I love it. And I saw ASM on there. So our next question, will global economy shifting towards sectors like semiconductors and production and advanced manufacturing, how are these changes reshaping design priorities, and what makes Arizona uniquely positioned in this moment?
That's a very good question, and it's I could get a bold answer to that, but I'm just going to start from how do Arizona became where we are. So we have a long tradition when it comes to futurism and to technology in Arizona. Think about it. Back during World War II, this was a testing ground for aviation around the world. So the bombers that we were using in Europe to fight against the crazy people, they were tested here. They were built here. They were tested in Arizona. So Arizona also moving forward, and in futurism, we had hubs moving here. Intel landed here in Arizona. This is because of factors that we'll talk about in a minute, such as our weather, our landscape, and other stuff. But we have a tradition in Arizona of technology. So with technology comes futurism because it's always in the forefront. So the fact that we have Taiwan Semiconductor with us here, it has to do with an alignment of our tradition, historic tradition, our weather, and some legal factors or legalities that came through federal acts like CHIPS Act, trying to bring semiconductor production from other countries into our own country and our ecosystem. And we are lucky enough that we have actually 3 fabs of Taiwan Semiconductor here, and other organizations have looked into Arizona for that. This is one of our projects, is ESM. It's another semiconductor manufacturing facility, and we can see here that with this particular project of the arrival of more technology in Arizona. Yes. And the arrival of more technology in Arizona brings us to aspects that other cities and countries don't have. So when you talk to your friend back east and you say, like, I just took a Waymo, an automated vehicle. It's like, how do you do that? Well, from my phone. It's like, who was driving? No one. It's like
it's like Uber, but
it's
with no driver.
Exactly. It's an Uber. So Arizona there's many reasons why, but we can go into that at another podcast. But momentarily, I want to tell you that is the idea of in Arizona, you can do things because the city was planned, or the cities were planned for the future. This goes back to the greatest idea of Frank Lloyd Wright, the greatest American architect, that he saw the future happening here. And if you look back to his drawings, you can see in his drawings little snippets of flying vehicles with people inside. The Jetsons.
That's interesting.
We're not that far from that. It's coming, and it's called eVTOL. It's electrical vertical takeoff landing vehicles. It's like automated flying taxis. We're not that far. I hope you
We're gonna
like.
do a
I
whole
can
nother
see
show on
this.
this.
I can see this in 10 years' time. I was like, Oscar was right. I can take an eVTOL to go to the airport. But just going back to what happens with a technology-driven facilities or manufacturing facilities. These facilities were secluded, closed because of security. But security. Technology has had advanced in terms of security, so now they're front-facing. Now they're talking to the community. They are branding environments. They are designed to attract talent. Full stop on design to attract talent. We are bringing these technologies to town, and our universities are working to create the talent that we are going to consume to sustain this advanced technology in our own Arizona state.
I'm glad to see that the building looks nice too, that there is a design element. Because I think one thing that a lot of people are worried about with these type of
facilities
is I'm going to have this I'm going to be living next to this monstrosity. It's going to look like a big warehouse or something like that.
If you drive by the Taiwanese Semiconductor, and did they just acquire like 900 more acres?
Yes, you can read about it. I'm like, yep, you can read about it.
It doesn't look like that.
No, it doesn't look like that.
Correct. So
this one is going to be near the Mayo Hospital around that area.
Yep, that's the North Phoenix, North Scottsdale area, and if you see, that is a large pocket of north of Scottsdale that is still in development. And in this particular project, as many other projects that we do, we are conscious of talking to our landscape, talking in terms of design. The use of xeriscape because of our our arid conditions and water shortages. We are making sure that we have elements of design that shelter us from the sun, like that kind of large canopy at the entry, that the facade speaks to the community rather than put a face and a stop in front of the community. So there is a communication always of the building because these buildings require large footprints. So we have, as designers, have the responsibility as a firm also to make sure that we listen to our community, that we understand the landscape where we are, that we know what can we do in the spaces where we are.
That actually leads me into my next question. I wanted to know what innovations in solar, water conservation, and materials are you most excited about specifically for here in Arizona in this arid climate?
So if you see technology have moved forward, the technology of the Hohokam was the ability to bring water to the desert. So, and that was technology that didn't happen overnight. That is the imagination and ideation of the early settlers of Arizona. Today, we have further technology. So what I'm excited for, the next gen of solar panels. Solar panels, as we knew it 20 years ago or 10 years ago, the rivets and so on, they have moved forward and have a better technology. I'm excited for waterless air conditioning. So that's, which by the way is getting manufactured here in Arizona. We just finished a building, a facility up in Mesa from a firm called Xenergy that is producing waterless air conditioning.
That would be wonderful.
Think about it. It's like, imagine if you go back to 1960s and you're going to tell people, you're going to have waterless air conditioning. It's like, oh, what? Exactly. So it's like, exactly.
With their swamp coolers at the time.
Exactly. You don't have to live in the porch, ma'am. Come in the house. So what am I excited to? As we move forward in our history in the desert, I'm looking forward to find other methods of producing power. I'm talking what it's going to have with small nuclear reactors. And people will be like, no, because the only impression they have of what nuclear is what happened years back during the war. Nuclear has moved forward and it is more safe. And you will hear in the news coming up how Arizona, in the legislature, there are discussions about it because we are in need of power. For many other reasons of how much power we consume our vehicles, the new technology for vehicles, the arrival of companies that are large footprint in terms of advanced technology, and other factors. But we're needing power. So how do we respond with the technology that we know to the requirement and needs that we have in Arizona for power? I can go on.
Well, but one thing adjacent to power is also water, and there's some big talks about water right now. Can you
Water
fill us in?
loops, water recycling. So what we are a little bit behind in comparison to Europe and other places that we have the opportunity to visit. It's like, why don't we recycle the water? Why don't we use low tanks? Why don't we, we're in the desert, so we should be able to use that technology to accommodate us to the space, the landscape where we live.
Good point. All right. How does Gensler, through its Research Institute and design forecast, separate what feels trendy from what the data proves will actually last?
You just said the right word, data proof. So as you collect information and data, you have the basis to analyze what is about to happen. So our research institute, the Gensler Research Institute, collects data through the year globally of all the projects that we're part of in 33 market sectors or practice areas for us, market sectors for the rest of the world. And what we do with that information is we analyze that information, and annually we publish the design forecast. Some of the images you would see here are part of our annual design forecast that you can download, by the way, if the
We'll link it.
that.
We'll link it in our show notes for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So then you can see what do we think, and as the largest architectural firm in the world, of what's going to happen based on data proven that is being analyzed by professionals and by specialists in each one of those market sectors. So this is an annual publication, and what we do is we take that grand information that is globally, and then we bring it down to the offices and the cities, the offices and the places where we work, live, and play. So annually, we open doors and we talk to our community about the design forecast that we've seen globally that is being not adapted, but landed in the spaces where we are. I don't think you guys attended our design forecast live this year, did you? You received the invitation.
Huh. Where were we?
I don't know.
We must.
But we will make it next year.
You
for
were
sure.
showing houses to people that are coming to Arizona. We
Exactly,
appreciate
that are moving here because of all the semiconductor plants that are being built.
I think you're going to dive into it also when we have you on the luxury home tour as a guest speaker. You can go into some of those highlights.
Yes, it's with my pleasure. I feel like I'm the Reader's Digest sometimes, so it's like I have to try to manage the information, because there are questions, as we started talking at the very beginning of this podcast, that there's a lot of information out there that is either being given without right analysis by the right people, or information that is being consumed just because sounds good, but just because you get followers. So think about how before the information was given to a community just to be given without understanding it. Now there is someone that analyzes it for you, and such voices that have no analysis capabilities or professionals become echo chambers and things that we don't want people to know. But once again, it's like this is based on knowledge,
data,
professional data, qualified, quantified, et cetera, et cetera.
Not social media.
No, yeah, correct. Social media is great when you apply. I mean, I'm not against social media at all. What I'm think is personally, I think is the use of knowledge is should be given by those who have the studies and comprehension of what they're saying. Oof, that sounds very difficult, but it's basically the right person, the right information.
Yes. Well, so much is taken out of context too. And something like this, you have the data to back it up. Like, this is what's happening in the world. This is where we see it going. And here's why.
I'm going to tell you, you go through doom scrolling for like 30 minutes, and then you stop, and I'm going to tell you, what did you learn? Zero. You got distracted.
Exactly.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. What did you learn that you can apply in your life?
I saw a dog in overalls.
Yeah.
If I were you, I would tune a beSpoke podcast.
Exactly. Well, one thing that we talked about with you on our call is the word luxury, and kind of how you define luxury. What do you think today's buyers, because we are in the residential market, why do you think they're less focused on living in a space and more focused on this experience?
I just took copious notes when we were talking, by the way. So I'm going to tell you this. This is a very great question and very fitting for this podcast. So luxury is personalized, tailored, customizable, unique, concierged experiences, rich in design environments. Huh. That is what you want to tell someone who doesn't know what luxury is. It's basically tailoring everything to fit what your needs are at the highest level possible. That's what luxury is. Now, the process of tailoring the information, or the process of the curatorial process of that information, that is different. You two and your team, you are curators of luxury. There's plenty out there to choose from. There is plenty, quote unquote, but you know what luxury entails for a certain type of client. So when the client comes to you, is reassured that you have already learned what are their expectations for luxury in an environment either new to or they know of.
I knew he'd be a great guest.
And I have always said it. I mean, that's why I get out of my office and I talk to real estate agents or brokers, because what happens is that at the greatest dome of Arizona, the first landing person that you talk to is your real estate agent. Where are you going to live? Where is your family going to feel secure? Where your kids are going to go to school? Where is the husband or the wife dropping off the dry cleaning in a place that is very good? Where is the closest church? What am I going to do this weekend? Where's the closest park? You can see everything, but the conversations with the real estate agent clarifies all of the noise around, and then get you to know the district and the space that you are landing. That we were talking earlier today that when a client lands here, it would be great to send them a link of Visit Scottsdale, which is one of organizations that has all the cultural aspects of the city as part of it. Or if you learn that the husband or the wife are sports geeks, sorry to say it, I don't know how the terminology goes together, but it's people that like sports. I don't know how to say that. So then send them the spring training listing. It's like, or the PGA Tour. It's like, I didn't know, or if they knew about Scottsdale, or actually you too, and real estate agents, you become ambassadors, but also coaches and curators of their experiences. So if the client purchased a home and you become friends, you will be at the PGA Tour with them, at the Phoenix Open with them, experiencing Arizona. So your voices represent all of us as Arizonans. You facilitate that conversation. You create that environment for them.
Gosh, I love that. So well said. And I love your definition of luxury. I'm going to use that.
It's like, noted. That's what we're going to go for.
You kept saying the word tailored in there. I'm like, this is
there's
perfect for our
there's another aspect of all these. Like, what is luxury today? It's like, imagine you landing here and being able to go to yoga. That means wellness. To the best place, to the best yoga studio that you can go to, or go to Pilates, which everyone is doing. I need to do it. But anyway, that's a different subject matter and conversation. But what happens is people are looking for community, for experiences, past the 1 minute 30 or 3 minutes from TikTok, past that, experiences. Immerse yourself in that experience. We were talking earlier today about how technology will allow us in the future to feel in space, go to a tour. You can send the link in the future, hopefully, send the tour to a client that lives back east. I think actually you still do. They can see the house, right? They can walk through the house.
Virtual staging.
So it's very stage with the right idea of environment. This could be yours. But we said it earlier. It's different that you see it and immerse, that you come and live in it. I was making the analysis of it's different to see Positano through pictures that being in Positano in the middle of summer, sweating out because it's so humid and it's about to rain.
Yeah.
Well,
and I just like how you set that up. You know, we're running into a lot of this virtual staging on listings.
Yeah.
Clients are loving it. They're like, "Whoa, this is the perfect house." And then you get into the house and it's just not realistic. And your response was, before you give somebody that AI, to see the space, say this is an experience. This is not the house. This isn't what you're going to get, but this is so you can start to envision what it might look like. And
we're giving you ideas. We're putting you in front of something that perhaps you don't have the capacity or not trained for it. We're going to give you that immersive experience at a level of a screen. In the future, we will have this goggles so you will feel in the environment. Actually, we do. Kids are playing on it these days.
Yeah.
I left all of that when Pac-Man was this thing.
Yeah.
So it's like Mario Bros. I haven't played any of that.
I think Experience Scottsdale or Visit Scottsdale did a pop-up in different places. I remember they had a dome and they would take it to like Chicago and they put the dome up and people would get in the dome and it'd be warm and it was like snowing outside in Chicago, right? Exactly. And they're like, I want to go to Scottsdale because they could feel it.
Yeah, exactly. You feel, you have
Great
to
idea.
all your senses have to be in place, which brings us back to the first question. It's just when you go to the office, what do you want to feel in the office? What is your experience in the office, right? You want to go check in and go back home? No, you want to leave home to have an experience, to be able to talk to people, to bring community, to be in one space with people that think like you, to perhaps do yoga at the end, go to the gym at the very beginning of the day, sit down and a curated barista little coffee place. It's like all of that we want to experience. Why not put it in the office? Why not be in the place that you work?
Well, I do think that's one thing that the pandemic taught us, right? When our community was ripped away from us, stay home, don't go anywhere. We realized how important that was, even if we didn't realize it before.
So there's two things that I talk about when it's pandemic, post-pandemic analysis. It's like the third place. You're not at home. You're not at work. Where are you? What is your third place? Find your third place.
Bikes.
Yep.
There you go. Hiking for some people because we want to be in nature, right? So, and if we want to be,
people's golf.
Some people's golf, exactly. But it's always outdoors, or it's always in spaces where we meet other people.
Yes.
That we want support of other people. So pandemic was very lonely. So that's one aspect that I talk about when I talk about pandemic. Second aspect that I talk about is we want to be in nature. So a lot of people purchase plants. Me, I was one. And because I wanted plants in our environment. That's called biophilia. We can go through the definition and analysis.
Some of the photos that you had as well, I don't know if you can pull those up. There's a lot of green in them.
That is biophilia.
And that is a newer concept that we're seeing.
Correct, because you want to be close to nature. During the pandemic, you were at home, you know, like looking at like whatever the street and the nature all the way up there. So here you want nature to be in your environment. And if you see this, that's the one that I want to bring is Provision. It's a project that we just finished recently on Missouri and 7th Street in Uptown, Midtown, I think still Midtown, Phoenix. This is inside. If you see office spaces, they have biophilia, plants and nature around it. But if we move forward, we can find the project.
I do feel like this is being recycled from the 70s and the terrariums inside.
We will always live with nature. Humans will always have nature around it. So this is actually a concept of two different buildings, two buildings separated by a fire escape that we created the center space as a lobby space. But if it's a lobby space, why don't bring a coffee place? That's Provision on the first floor that is open for coffee in the morning, and it's a restaurant at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, past the restaurant or attached to the restaurant, there is live music playing. There are DJs happening. There are little bridal things happening during the weekends, shows for brides and stuff like that, or they have done fashion shows. So that's a communal space. And to add to the communal space in the environment is biophilia. We feel closer to it. It relaxes you, visually relaxes you. It helps the oxygen of the space and all the stuff that we can pinpoint later. But what I want to bring attention to is the insertion of art in the space, public art. That is not a graffiti, these murals. We have advanced in terms of in our terminology. That is a mural that it was designed by a local artist to represent the fauna and flora of the area around where the project's been done. So it's like you bring that other aspect of recognition of your area.
I think Gensler just does that. When we toured your building with you guys had Pete Dice was You had Dice's sculptures all over what, and that was some sort of program of bringing in local artists, right?
Yeah. So the office, once again, the office space as office should have other aspects attached to it in recognition of the place where you are, where you land, or the office is. So why not bring through art a little portion or a portion of the storytelling of who we are? So Peter Dice, great sculptures, great artist, local. Thank you, part of ArtLink, an organization that I'm a president of.
And he's been on the podcast.
And
so
he's
you
been
can
here on
look
the
him up.
podcast.
Yeah.
What an incredible... See, we have talent. It's an incredible talent.
Yes.
And Peter feels Peter knows Arizona well and feels Arizona and represents Arizona in his sculptures. So when it came to a moment of bringing art, we actually purchased the piece. It's part of our office now.
Oh, you did?
Yes, it's actually
Is it
part
the
of
red
this.
one?
It's the red one, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we have of course, Gensler.
I
Hello.
know.
That goes
Did
with
I
the
have to say
storytelling here.
that?
So yeah, we have a piece from Arizona artists, and we are collecting other pieces. So we have a program in the office where we bring art into the office, and we have our openings with wine and cheese, and bring the community in our office at the end of the day to talk about other aspects, but it always goes back to the world of design and where we live.
Love it. Okay, on that, I have a couple rapid fire questions for you.
Oh my, okay.
Okay, I
Shoot.
want to know, where does Oscar like to eat? Where's your favorite restaurant around the valley?
Can I say two?
Yes.
Okay. There is one new place in downtown Phoenix called Coabana. Coabana is the Taino or the Aboriginal or native Cuban language.
Kobana?
So it's called Coabana, and it's Cuban food.
Okay.
And once you step in, you are in South Beach.
Okay.
It's immediately. I mean, I'm telling you, the drinks are amazing. They have plantain. They have
All right.
incredible. Coabana is in downtown, and the second one, oh gosh, there's so many, and I love local chefs, like small local chefs that are just on their way up. Let me think. Oh my God, name escapes me. It's on 7th Avenue north of Indian School. If anyone can Google it.
Oh, I know who you're talking. You're the Valentine, no?
Valentine.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
If you,
It's so good.
hands off.
And they have the little speakeasy and
Yeah.
See?
Modern
it's an
Manor.
experience. It's an
See, it's like
experience.
it was a at some point it was a dry cleaning building that has gone through a process of adaptation, and now it is a staple. And the environment may not be the most sophisticated in terms of other places that we know.
Like fine dining. Was that your fine dining book?
But I'm telling you, the fine dining is
It
where
is.
you're going to eat.
It
And
is,
the
yeah.
experience and the speakeasy in the back.
Yes.
And the barista in the morning and the mixologist at night, and even the music. The music is incredible. And there's an aspect here is there's a community around there already getting built. So
Yes.
where does Oscar eat? I love local chefs that are in the brink of going up.
Love it. Love it.
Perfect. Modern minimalism or bold maximalism?
Both.
Where do you fall?
Both. I like to experience spaces that are being curated by designers. Me as an architect appreciate the minimalism. It is incredible to live in a minimal space. Think about it. You have to brush your hair, brush your teeth, do all your. You will never see the counter in my house clean. There's always stuff, and that is because we're leaving the space. And maximalism I love because it brings you this excitement every day you wake up in a space that is like full of stuff.
Yes. And that's exactly how it feels.
And think about our space. And when I used to design luxury residential, I always tell everyone that loves minimalism. It's like, have you ever visited someone's home who had traveled the world and has no pieces or have collected pieces from the places they've been? The space where you live represents the things that you have acquired. So if you go to someone who has traveled the world, there's always something in the house that represents that travel. That is what we used to think. Today, those pieces that you have collected and purchased somewhere else are on your TikToks, right?
True.
Because we don't want to travel with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But at least you bring something with you.
Yeah.
The ring that you purchased, the little vase that you purchased, like, oh, that was in Mexico. The art piece that you can tell the story about. Those spaces belong to you and tell your experience in the world.
Great answer. Great answer. What's one workplace trend design that you wish would disappear?
What? God, talking about good questions. That's a very good question. That I would feel disappear. The people think that going back to work, it is an obligation. Because the spaces where you work, it should be enjoyable for us, for humans. And we felt the need of being connected through the pandemic, of being in space with people. The pandemic was great at the beginning, fantastic, your own time, and then after the days went by, it was like, ugh.
I remember being excited to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
Going out the house.
I can see you from the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's like, I saw you. So is that we long, because we're humans, we're animals, and then we long connectivity, we long to be close to each other. We love this exchanging.
Yeah.
And thank you, by the way, for opening this window to talk about a particular aspect of the community.
Yeah.
Because it is these conversations that you learn.
Yeah. What's your favorite space you've ever walked into, and why did it wow you?
Wow, these are very. Anyway,
Yeah, that's why we don't prepare you for this.
These are great conversations and very personal too. Didn't expect those. 1997, Guggenheim Museum Bilbao, opening afternoon with my faculty. I studied in Spain, in Salamanca, and we had a trip to Bilbao. So the National Philharmonic, Spanish Philharmonic, was playing in the lobby of the Bilbao Museum.
Oh, wow.
When I've never seen architecture represent music so well. I walked in and they were playing classical music. It was an opening for many universities, and it was a high-level event. And I walked in and I look up, and those walls were waving, and the music was playing. It's a very large lobby, and I look up and it's like, holy smokes!
Wow.
This man represented music. This is spectacular.
What an experience.
Yeah.
It was. I urge you to
Yeah.
visit a Frank Gehry building and then put classical music in your earbuds.
Oh, yeah.
Your earbuds. Yep.
Well, thank you so much for sharing.
No, thank you. This was very pleasant. Thank you so much for having a moment with me.
Yeah, we're going to link all of your contact information in our show notes, but if you don't mind letting people know where they can find you.
Anywhere.
That's probably true.
I see that you have your own website.
Oh,
by the
well,
way. I
yeah.
found that as
This
I
is the
was
personal side.
researching.
I want to speak
Yeah.
about. So listen to this portion. So, oh my God, if we have time, or this is off camera.
Yeah.
So years back, before the pandemic, way back, I wanted to talk about design and teach people about design. Teach, quote unquote, teaching, giving ideas and suggestions about design. So I was thinking, it's like, I was like, architecture is so complicated for some people, and this interior design, it gets trapped in some other definitions. So it's like, what would be something that I can do? I know I have a tradition in fashion. My previous life, I had life in the world of fashion when I was young. So I said, okay, I'm going to talk about fashion to people because I can talk about material, colors, textures, and shape. So it's like, perfect. So I started just, back then when Facebook first started, started talking about like, if you are told you should wear this. Like what do we see today on TikTok? Like, oh, I'm going to put this outfit on. Well, I started talking about that. And that became too big for me to handle.
You were the OG influencer.
They sent me to the Grammy Awards, to the Oscars, they sent me to all of these events to talk. This is before what we know today, before the 3 minutes in TikTok.
Yeah.
And then my husband Gary's like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm talking to people about something they should learn. Correct. So then, and if you see, the world of fashion is very well connected, is very close and connected with the world of design. Many architects have dipped into fashion. Many fashion designers have dipped into interior design and even architecture. My favorite, Tom Ford. Favorite. This man can design an interiors and you can feel elegant. You can wear a Tom Ford piece, you feel elegant. That is luxury. My experience with Tom Ford is luxury. And I have the opportunity to meet him, visit, all that stuff. So you feel the essence of the person. So I'm going to wrap it up there because I can go on and on.
I love it. Thank you for sharing. This has been great.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Modern Home Mastermind. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe, like, and rate.
Thanks to our guest for sharing his insights and for you for learning about everything modern with us.
All right, if you're ready to take the next step in your real estate journey, please reach out to us at beSpoke Real Estate. And until next time, keep living, loving everything modern.